What's up, everybody? We're live. We're live on YouTube and Twitter. I am Danielle, and I am really kind of excited because we just watched an amazing episode of the premiere of House of the Dragon. Like, I don't know how you guys feel, but this is crazy cool. So I kind of want to get people's feedback, ideas, thoughts. Like, what really sparked you about this episode? What made you really kind of connect with this episode? If you connected with this episode, tell us about it. You can follow me at Octane Designs. I'll change my name here so that's kind of updated. And I kind of want you guys, again, just give me some feedback. Tell me what you thought. You can actually place comments live in YouTube. And then, of course, I want to see like what people thought about this episode. Was it what you hoped for? Was it really something that really struck out to you, said something to you? You got to let me know in the comments. I mean, this is kind of what it's all about. For me, this was like mental breakdown. Wow, it's everything that we had hoped to build. If you're fans of the book, fans of the literature, you're gonna actually be okay. I feel like from just watching the first episode, this kind of gives us hope, right? I feel like the screenplay writers, there's a toddler in the background who's extremely excited about this episode as well. I feel like from what the screenwriters provided in kind of like the aftermath of some of these pieces, this was spot on. This was, I feel like this is something that everyone probably would have kind of foreseen a little bit. If you've again read some of the literature from J.R.R. Martin, of course, it was already kind of said before that our good friend actually was, really impressed with how the series had gone. He'd only seen snippets of it, George did, but I feel like based off what his reaction was, kind of gave us as viewers hope, fans from both Game of Thrones and fans of the books some hope. So again, only the first episode, can't go too farther down the hole, but we can see very easily how these characters are slowly developing, right? Can we talk about some of the foreshadowing that was in this? This was insane how they were able to connect the Game of Thrones that we have come to love with this kind of prediction, right? They've been predicting for years, for hundreds of years, that this was going to happen, that White Walkers were going to come, that winter was coming. It was predicted even then, but even more in a I don't know, like in a sense of now, like a finality of like right then. But unfortunately, it didn't happen until hundreds years later, which we understood to and come to love with Game of Thrones. Excuse me. Wow. So I'm just really excited. I'm going to sit here and drink some water, and I just want to hear your feedback on what you thought about this particular episode. If something really struck you, let's talk about it. I also kind of want to touch base on like what was, let's just say what was kind of heartbreaking to watch. If you want to go scene by scene, we can, but I feel like it was really kind of heartbreaking watching oh my gosh, watching this childbirth scene that was kind of middle. If you're I come from a little bit of I have multiple children, so this is kind of something that it was really kind of very visceral to watch. I also was obviously hella angry by the amount of men in the room making decisions for women. There was just a lot of that was kind of echoing throughout this particular episode, which of course we should be comfortable with by this time, because we experienced a lot of that originally in Game of Thrones, that women just really weren't in that place in the beginning. As we kind of come into this particular prequel, if you will, before what we know as Game of Thrones, I think it's very interesting how this particular house is really kind of taking this next level seat of power. Let me just say that. So there's a lot of history here. I love the fact that they do give a little bit of a prologue. Is that what you call it? No, not prologue. The other way, the E word. I like the fact that they actually kind of give you this background story ahead of time, right? Like they give you a little bit of background and context, so that's not so far off from understanding exactly where these particular players are. in the game, and exactly where we are in the series of the development of Westeros overall. I'm a huge, huge, huge fan of the show, of the writing of George. Like, it's just a lot of little elements and components and pieces that I felt really said something in the scope and realm of kicking off this series. So yeah, I mean, let's talk about some of the carnage and some of the the more violent pieces. I love how they were able to put together, again, kind of going back a little bit to that childbirth scene. I love how they were able to put together this piece of violence with another piece of violence. Like the similes and the comparisons and the analogies and all of that are just very invasive. And I feel like they had to set a tone because Game of Thrones was already so impactfully violent, right? It was already so raw in some areas that had not been seen really in this type of television before. And now, like, we're kind of accustomed to it. We're expecting it. And that's exactly what was happening, specifically in this opening episode. They had to set a tone. And so I really like the fact that that actually happened. And we kind of broke the ice early on. So we kind of know that it's only going to get more intense, maybe a little bit more gruesome, maybe more detailing as the season progresses. So that was definitely something that I was really surprised by. I actually have a chat. We have a group chat kind of going on my Facebook specifically. And we really kind of deep dived into this episode and really tried to find out like what was happening as it was happening in real time. So kind of moving past the jousting and kind of going straight into this lineage already of Targaryens and childbirth and continuing that lineage, right? Um, it always has been a struggle, right? It's not that it's not impossible. It's just always been a little bit of a struggle, and we're seeing more of that development, and that kind of explains a little bit more into the more foreshadowing of what happens with Daenerys in Game of Thrones. So I think it's really cool that we see things happening before it manifests into other things that progresses the plot line overall for the series. So that was super cool. I really wanted to see more of and I'm sure we're going to see more of this family drama, see more of the brokenness and the house against house aggression. It's just a matter of time. But can we talk about Matt Smith for a minute? Because that was pretty cool. Seeing him play Damon is really cool. It's really he's super aggressive. Naturally, he's already he's already so talented in so many different ways. So to be able to see him in this particular role is just dead on. His spirit is definitely in this character. So it's cool to see that and how it kind of is going to evolve throughout the season. I like the tone that it set. I really like his particular character because the way that they kind of summed him up toward the end of this particular episode really kind of helped showcase how Targaryens show love. It's not by flowery things sometimes. Sometimes it's with grit. It's with fire. It's with blood, right? Fire and blood. Hashtag fire and blood for sure. But I really wanted to just get out there and get this reaction from people who are watching this in regards to what their thoughts were, what their opinions are on the episode. Is it a good start? Is it not a good start? And then also kind of your feedback on the development of plot and how quickly we jumped into exactly where we are we're going to start snowballing. You know, that tension's going to keep getting tighter and tighter. I love how this was really kind of drop you into the plot, drop you into the episode. So really need just some general feedback on how you guys thought about that in the comments. But overall, I am so pleased with this episode. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really neat. I loved all of the character arcs that are already set in place. I love the tension between the houses. I love the tension within the House Targaryen. I'm really digging a lot of the kind of unleveling of plot development. They just kind of set a tone for me. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen on the next episode. Of course, we're going to try very hard to keep reflections going between now and the end of the series. So just come on back every Sunday evening where we can talk a little bit more. We'll have some more organized polls in here as well, but this is my first go at this, y'all. So bear with me as I'm trying to figure some things out, but also be really excited and in the moment with the rest of the fans who are watching this for the first time. So this is my little live reaction video. I'm just so blown and amazed again by the level of by the level of art, by the level of intention, by the screenwriting. Like all of these things are so important. So I'm really glad that they're being true a little bit, as much as you can be, to both the written platform, the written books themselves, and then what alliterations we can take from that and kind of embellish upon. So, and I think too, this will be great look up for the show. So just kind of be aware of that too, as things start to kind of snowball and get more and more hairlined, I'm pretty sure, between now and the end of October. So without further ado, I'm going to wrap this up. But this is just my general reflections on the show itself. First episode. I'm really excited to kind of get you all's opinions and stuff in regards to how we can make, how we as fans can more deeply appreciate this, knowing where the story goes, right? Knowing that we know that Daenerys is coming hundreds of years later, knowing that we know, oh, we got to see Eddard Stark. Eddard, well, no, wasn't Eddard. So I'm sorry. What was his name? Oh my gosh. We saw an early Stark. It wasn't Eddard. It couldn't have been Eddard. Well, it wasn't Eddard, was it? I forgot his name already. But we saw an early Stark. Woohoo. We saw, let's see, we saw lots of other houses. Obviously, Old Town was one of the original houses. And I think that's really cool that we're able to see that now in full fruition and how strong and powerful this house was. So I think that's really cool. There were some other cool reflections that we talked about in the group. I can't really remember them on top of my head. I was drinking and being really excited, so I was really super excited about that. I think, let me see. Oh, I kind of wanted to know what your opinion was on an overall scale from 1 to 5. Let us know what you thought. I'm obviously giving it a 4.5. That's what we kind of agreed upon in the group. So I'm really excited to see you all's opinions, your all's opinions about that. I want to hear what you thought was the best takeaways from the episode, but then also tell me too, like, how, I want to know how real this is for you. Like for us going into Game of Thrones, it was kind of a given, but now we have a platform to kind of judge a little bit, right? The level of intent between the two. We can start doing those comparisons, because I feel like that's what's going to be the difference in the game changer between fans watching this the first 5 weeks and fans who are watching this the entire season all the way through the end of October. So I'm just kind of forecasting some things, you know. I definitely am excited about where this is going. This gives me a lot of hope. We were all kind of worried about what was going to happen as far as the level of intent that was going to be put into this particular series. If it was going to be a letdown, as many people thought it might be, from season 8 going into this particular series, from Game of Thrones into this. But I feel like this is good footing. Only the first episode though, so we'll see. So I'm really excited to see where this goes. I'm going to wrap this up and thank everybody for watching. Continue to follow me, Octane Designs, on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and we'll catch you next time. Next week, same place, same time. Hopefully a little sooner than this time, in regards to watching this show. So thanks for watching Talk Dragons, and we'll catch you next time.